Hey guys, I see that I have some viewers. Say hi when you come on. This is what happens when you leave your lids off your paint jars for too long. Hey Christine, hi Erin, hi Anita. Be right with you. Okay. Hi Amanda. Good to see everybody joining me. I apologize for being a few minutes behind today. My teenager siphoned the internet, and yeah, for the PlayStation. You know, I don't have a job to do or anything. Again, as you guys pop on, say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm Bianca, and I am one of Dixie Belle's brand ambassadors, and I am also the owner and artist of Lotus Theory Designs. We're going to be doing some blending today with a beautiful new brush that I think rolled off the table. That's okay. I have another. Oh, I'm so excited, you guys. I'm so excited about this brush. So look at this. Look at that. Super excited. I can't wait to show you guys. No, Cheryl, my space is so organized. If you saw what was going on behind the camera, you would retract your statement. Okay, so you guys, Dixie Belle is coming out with a new brush called the Best Dang Brush. And gosh darn it, is it the best dang brush. I don't know why I'm doing this so much, for emphasis, I guess. It's phenomenal. So for those of you that follow me, you saw that I had done last week, I believe, I posted a piece. It was a Spirit of the Sword of the Spirit piece that I did last week. And to blend, I used this brush. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. So this brush is going to be available on the market very soon. I don't like to throw dates out there because, you know, we're living in crazy times right now and everything is prefaced with the word tentative. But it will be available very soon. And in the meantime, I want to give you a demonstration. So we're going to be working on this nightstand. My process up until this point is all the cleaning and sanding and all that. 2 coats Boss, 2 coats burlap. I do like to, when I'm doing blending, go ahead and get a couple of coats laid down as a base coat. So that way I'm not having to do so many layers of the artistic finish. So that's what we're going to be working on. And I'm also thinking I'm going to end up putting some sunflower transfers on it. So just to kind of give you guys some insight into my brain, these are one of several new transfers by Dixie Belle from the Bells and Whistles line. And this is sunflowers. So my thought as far as this is going to be something that accommodates to add these beautiful sunflowers onto the mix. Okay? So I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. I do have lots of brushes here. I'm going to just explain to you what I'm doing as I'm doing it, because honestly, I never really know what I'm doing until I'm doing it. And if you guys have any questions, yeah, Solly, you do need one of those. Solly's talking about needing that brush. If you have any questions, drop them in. I'm going to try to keep my eye on the comments as well. Lorraine. It's a magical fairy wand that creates beautiful furniture. I know. I was not a good artist before this brush, but this brush came along and I'm telling you, it's magic. What sorcery is this, Dixie Belle? I don't know the price for the brush yet. I apologize for not knowing that, but I can tell you I would pay $100 for it. It's that good. So whatever they ask will be fair. All right, so let's start from the bottom, work our way up. Shall we? So I have chocolate in my hand. I do love chocolate. Oh gosh. I never have my life right for you guys. I do apologize. So backstory, my paints all got tangled up on the shelving. So now they're out of order. So now the ones that are open are not easily accessible. Okay. Let's just start painting. So I have an oval medium brush, one of Dixie Belle synthetic brushes. Love them. And let's just start slapping some paint on. You know what I do need? Burlap. I need more burlap. This is such a nice color. It really is nice to even just stand alone, you know, a solid color. But we don't do solid colors around here, or at least not that often. All right, a little bit of paint on my brush. I usually dab away the excess onto a plate, and I'm just going to start working. We'll see what happens, okay? Make sure those are closed. All right, so as far as my brush application here, or how I am wielding this amazing tool, I am putting a little bit of paint onto the brush. Okay, I'm swirling, I'm stippling, I'm just getting it on there, okay? Because when I introduce my magic wand, it's not gonna matter. Hi, Rashonda Light. Yes, it's Rashonda's first time catching me live. Hey, girl, hey. All right, so that's a whole lot of brown. How about green? I have a couple of greens here. Yeah, you know what? I never use this color, Evergreen. And I think it's Connie. She is Fat Designs, one of the new brand ambassadors for Dixie Belle, one of 4 new ones. Welcome. And I believe she said this is her favorite color. So I looked at it today. I'm like, you know what? Me and Evergreen need to get to know each other. So let's toss a little bit in there. Just because Connie said, you know what I'm saying? I'm inspired. She does really good work, you guys. Check her out. As does the other 4 new ambassadors. Okay, so let's blend a little bit. So I've got some water, and I like to spritz the end of my brush. Sometimes I spritz the canvas. And I'm just going to kind of swirl it. I did let it dry a little bit, actually. Whoops. That's okay. So I don't mind letting some of that burlap come through, actually. I'm here for it. My style of blending often is more of a grungy type blend. So let's keep going. I also have some, put a little bit of collard greens in there. Not too sold on the evergreen. We need to darken it up. Don't hate it, but I feel like evergreen is one of those colors. Maybe it'd be great on as a standalone color as well. Okay, this is hideous, you guys. Trust the process. I promise it'll get good. It better. I'm going to regret saying that. It's all right. We're going to keep going. Let's put a little bit more chocolate in there. So my thought is, and I always have a thought, and then it takes on a totally different turn. My thought is maybe it carries up from the darker earthy tones to maybe the blue sky type tones, since we're going to be putting sunflowers in the mix. I don't know. It could end up being sunflowers in the middle of the ocean. So who knows with me, but colored greens, this green here, this deep green, I use it a lot. Definitely a favorite of mine. I especially like to use it with caviar, the black. It makes for really great stripes. Normally, I do coat the underside of my pieces when I'm doing blending with a dark color. But for this, I thought, well, let's step out a little bit and go with lighter, and maybe I can get some of that burlap to show back up throughout. So let me see your comments. Yes, Rebecca, get that sword. It's amazing. I think I'm going to get another one actually and just do something with it. Yes, Diane, welcome. First few minutes is me just being a hot mess. Don't worry about it. That's a good one. Thea, I hope I said that right. Love the evergreen and kudzu combo. Okay, I don't see any questions, just lots of praise. Thank you, and love and conversation, and love when you guys engage. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to keep going here. Where was I? You know what? I'm bored with the green. Let's bring some blue in. Sometimes I jump around on my projects just to kind of see where I'm going. And trying to open this up. This jar is so crusty. I use antebellum blue a lot. I love this color. It's a mess, but it is good to the very last drop. I will use it until it's gone. And I'm going to get Terra Cotta ready because I have a feeling this is going to get introduced in there at some point. Love, love, love Terra Cotta. All right. So, I mean, if a sky were going to happen. So oftentimes when I blend, I will kind of messily slap the first layer on, and I'll just kind of come back through and fine tune it. So earlier when I said I do a base coat so that I don't have to do so many layers, yes, that is true. However, you know, I did a piece a couple weeks ago live, and it was the palm tree sunset, and you saw me work on it on camera. It needed some fine tuning. I ran out of time, and I came back through and just blended it, added a little bit here and there, and blended it some more. And I ended up getting the results I like. So as you're doing this, you guys, if you find that it's just not coming out how you like, keep going. Don't stop. Elizabeth just did a small side table in collard greens. It's such a good color. I wish I could see pictures on here. I would say, show me, but I can't. Okay, so this is dusty blue. Yeah, dusty blue. And I'm going to see if I can get away with not getting a fresh brush for these blues. Yep, worked just fine. So I'm using the Best Dang brush and just kind of mixing that together. Let's bring some of the green up. Just kind of stipple to bring some of the green up into the blue here so that they transition. So that sword piece that I was talking about that I used this brush for, that was definitely more of a cloudy, ethereal type of blend. I can already tell that this is going to be a little bit more abstract, a little bit more messy, a little bit more grunge. That is okay. So antebellum blue, where'd you go? Let's do the same on the side here. Don't worry, I can add some green down here later. Make sure I get into all the grooves. This probably wasn't the best piece to pick for this tutorial because there's so much so many architectural things going on that make it just a little bit more complicated. Not impossible, but complicated. I hate this squeaky table. Sorry about the squeaks, guys, if it's driving you nuts. All right, dusty blue, where are you at? A little bit on the brush. Let's put a little bit in there. Trying to paint and hold this table steady at the same time. I apologize if you can hear the squeaking. This table is like 15 years old. Shh. There we go. It's quiet time table. All right, so let's just kind of blend that in. Maybe stipple it a little bit. Okay. So I did say I wanted to bring some Terra Cotta into the mix. Let's do that. I have a little bit in these, actually, I'm not sure what they're called. Squirt bottle type. They're not the fancy ones. Is it FIFO? First in, first out? Yes, it's not those. I didn't go for those because I'm cheap. These work just fine. And I do like to keep certain paints in those, just, you know, when I'm just using little bits of paint here and there rather than going through opening a whole jar and exposing that jar to you know, air and all that, and eventually drying it out. Okay, so Terra Cotta. Let's put a little bit in there. And I'm just stippling it on, okay? Let's put a little bit of water on that brush. And so apparently this brush can be used for more than just swirling and blending. It can also be used to help blend in a stipple, okay? Let's see. Best staying brush is a natural bristle brush. Dixie Belle, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a synthetic natural bristle blend, which is probably what makes it so flippin' amazing. Love it. Yes, okay. So Dixie Belle, you already answered that. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. All right. So let's tap into some lemonade. Kind of all over the place. Lemonade, super light yellow. Put some lemonade in the mix, okay? Because like I said, kind of like a sky type finish that we're going to have going on up here with earth look down there. Okay, I think I got it. I think the table's quiet now. A little bit of water, a little bit of stippling. And let me jump back to my blue brush. Didn't even add paint, a little bit of water. Let's just throw some in there around the lemonade. See what we get. So it's funny, the lemonade here, that's this yellow color, it's turning up almost white. But if I were to put white next to it, there would be contrast. So yeah. All right, let's keep going on the sky. Let's do a little bit of the antebellum. And just make sure I get in the grooves here. I love this color. I want to, I don't know, branch out a little bit, use some colors that I don't normally use. And one of the things that I want to achieve, I think, coming up pretty close here, especially I think it's probably inspired because, you know, March, St. Patrick's Day, green, green, green. But I'm thinking I want to try to figure out a way to mix up Dixie Belle paints, because you know they're totally mixable. The chalk mineral line, mix away. To try to mix up a really deep emerald green. And when I say deep, I'm thinking like, I don't know, like a velvet couch in that deep, 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 super pigmented green. So I will figure it out and report back. Or you could just make the color for me, Dixie Belle. I'm just saying. Okay, so any comments or questions? Yeah, I mean, Jamie, you got a point. The wax brushes will make you wonder why you ever use anything else. They're expensive at work, especially if you push out a lot of pieces. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I don't really like the word expensive. Not that I'm correcting you by any means, because I just feel like, you know, you get out of your project what you put in. And so I don't know how much this brush is going to be, but I can say that, you know, if it's going to yield the perfect results that maybe you were struggling to get otherwise, and you take care of the brush, it's a worthy investment. And I just realized I'm not even using the brush. Let's just pretend to use the brush. Look at this brush. Isn't this amazing? You guys, I'm so all over the place. I've had though, like these brushes here, this is the oval. Let me get rid of that. Somehow. There we go. Okay, so look how old this brush is. And you can tell because I got a new one the other day and the wood is just beautiful and fresh and this is dry and brittle. I've used these brushes so much. If you take care of them, they will last you forever. Okay, so let's put a little bit more lemonade. Let's just do that. And then there we go. So I just tossed a little bit of lemonade, grabbed my dedicated Best Dang brush and just kind of blended it in. And this time I used a swirling motion. So again, I'm not, sticking to side with my blending, up, down, or swirls or anything. I'm all over the place. I'm doing whatever it takes to get to where I'm going here. I can already tell I'm probably gonna, at some point, probably later, add some, what's that other color I really like? Coffee bean, that deep brown color down here to really deepen it up because as it stands, it's not giving me the gradient that my brain is going for. So let's jump back to some of the greens. So colored greens. And let's just toss some of that in here. And also what you can do is if your brush is dry enough, you kind of come back through and dry brush if you wanted and add, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm adding a little bit of colored greens in there using a dry brush technique. So that's also an option. Okay. I just saw a comment, wish you had a local vendor in the Seattle, Everett area. You go onto the Dixie Belle website, there's a retailer, find your retailer link. Hope that helps. I'm sure there's one out there. Okay. I like you. My brain goes to music all the time too. Okay, so yes, Liz. Okay, so wants me to repeat the lower colors. Let me work on the bottom a little bit because I jumped up here. I always get excited for blues. That's another thing I need to step away from is blues because I do a lot of blues. Let's jump down to the bottom here. And I had used, so I started off with chocolate, okay. A little bit of chocolate on my brush. That's this brown. Okay, and then I did put a pinch of evergreen in there. So I just put a little bit on the brush. Let's just toss it in there and see what we get. Okay, I'm using this Best Dang brush just to kind of swirl and blend, stipple, just to get it mixed and transitioning. And let's see, what else did I put in here? I put collard greens in there. So that's this deep green here, okay? And there's a lot of it on there, but I'll just show you. And this orange is Terra Cotta. So I actually do see more of this Terra Cotta kind of sprinkled in just specks throughout. And again, my thought is sunflower transfers on here somewhere. So the top is stained, in case you're wondering why it's taped off like that. I usually do my staining first if I am going to stain a top, so that way as I work on the body and the finish, the stain has a chance to cure because you don't want to seal your stains too quickly, especially if you're using a water-based sealer, because the gel stain, the no paint gel stain anyway, is oil-based. So I like to give it time to soak in, penetrate the wood, cure. So that's why I usually do my stain first. But in case you're wondering, that's why it's taped off there, because it will be a stain. Top, where are you, Terra Cotta? There we go. Yeah, I just love this color, just a little bit of it. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Jamie. Tracy says collard greens and plum crazy. Okay, I can totally see that mix. Dixie Belle gave up keeping up. They just said I'm moving back and forth between my colors. Gave up on listing them, huh? Yeah. She's all over the place. Can't keep up with her. A little bit more of this evergreen. So I'm not sure if don't hold me to this, but there is this like solid sunflower. So whereas a lot of them are able to be cut out and positioned, layered, etc. There we go. This is totally solid. So just to kind of give you a peek, my thought is that, you know, what if this went down here? And then, I don't know, maybe the rest are kind of floating up to the sky because, you know, that's what flowers do. They float up to the sky in my world anyway. But just to kind of give you an idea of what I have going on, okay? Because I do like to try to show you guys as I go. Otherwise, it can be, the process can be lost. So, all right, I'm going to, let's see what I want to do here. I need to take a step back, guys. Let me have a look. Okay, so yeah, let me get the coffee bean. Surprised I didn't have that handy. I apologize. Coffee bean. Okay. So this is a staple color, super duper dark brown. If you don't have this color, get this color. Super versatile. And I'm going to grab a mini brush. Okay, so I've got coffee bean and a mini brush, and I'm just putting a teensy weensy bit onto the tip of my brush. Okay, these minis have seen better days. I told you, look at that hot mess. Been using it for so many months, but they bounce back. Okay, so I'm just wiping the excess off. Okay, let's do some shading. So tiny bit of paint on your brush. Can you see that? I'll bring you in closer in just a sec. Normally I would keep this for the last step, but sometimes I will jump to this. This is more of a finishing technique that I use, just to kind of see if it's gonna, if what I'm doing is gonna work for it. Because as I continue on, I tend to build my process. I don't really come into these things with like a laid out plan. So I'm just doing some shading, okay? And I'm just gonna do some of it, like I said, so I can bring you in and show you. And maybe let's just put a little bit there. Okay, so let me bring you in. My blend is kind of looking stony, which I like. So just that little bit of paint. See how it just kind of did some like shadowing, low lighting. Okay, I did a little bit up here, a little bit there, just enough to give it a little bit of interest and break up the background here. So Jamie, I like you, Jamie. It's nice to meet you. Bianca has now put coffee bean and is putting a teensy weensy bit on her mini. Teensy weensy. I'm having fun with you guys today. Thank you. All right, where was I? Yeah. So let me just build a little bit more here, maybe here, and then I think that you'll get the point. I do think I'm going to jump back in, probably fine tune my layers a little bit more, fill in any kind of patchiness. I'm fine with, there's some spots where the burlap is popping out a bit. You can kind of see it close up here. Probably can't see it from there, but maybe here. So there's a little bit of burlap kind of poking through. I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm going to own that. All right, so evergreen. Let's go a little bit heavier. Okay, and I stopped switching brushes at some point. That's okay. A little bit of chocolate, mainly just to get it wet. Best dang brush to blend. And because I'm not using water, I am getting a lot of paint pulling. That's the style that I'm going for, okay? If I were spritzing all of this with water, working in small, manageable sections and using this brush to blend, totally seamless. Lemonade. I'm going to start kind of giving myself a guide here for the lemonade. So just kind of toss some in, let it carry down just a hair there. You can blend all of this later. Right now, I'm just kind of tossing some in there to give myself, I guess, a frame or a frame of reference. Let's get some of the excess off the brush here. And just kind of stipple a little bit. Yeah, I think I need, there we go, just a little bit. Stipple just a tiny bit in there. Kind of smear it in with this brush, okay? Just to kind of give it a bit of a highlight in places, okay? All right, so now that I've got that, let me kind of blend around it. Okay. Maybe introduce a little bit more of that lemonade in there. Just lightly tapping using the existing paint on the brush. And let's just blend it in a little bit more using this best dang brush. The best dang brush. Like, for real, you guys, I haven't been this excited about, I mean, I get excited whenever there's new products, but this brush, I am stoked about. A little bit of Terra Cotta. Okay. Oops, almost made a mistake. There we go. It's more of that evergreen. Now, off camera, because there's only so far I can get with you guys, there's a good chance I might jump. I will take a step back. I always take a step back and look at something. Sometimes I walk away from it for a bit. So that way when I do come back and look at it, I'm looking at it with fresh eyes. There's a good chance I'm going to introduce maybe a little bit of lighter green in here, probably using that dry brushing technique that I showed you here. Don't hold me to it, but it might happen. Just, you're forewarned. Lots and lots and lots of comments. You guys, I'm going to have to totally come back and read them because there's just so many. And I know that, like, as a mom, we're supposed to have eyes in the back of our head. That's a lie. Well, I think we do when, you know, with the kids, but right now, not so much. Okay. So this is the lemonade. And I just looked at the time. It's getting late. I don't want to keep you guys longer than I need to. So just for the sake of maybe completing this section, let's throw some of that dusty blue in there, which has now blended a little bit with the antebellum in the brush. So now I'm just getting a totally different color, which is not a bad thing. See the difference? So I just spritzed my lemonade brush, and let's just kind of there we go. Okay, so I leave you with this. Isn't it gorgeous? It's so not gorgeous. Don't feel obligated to say yes. It's going to take some layers and some work, but this at least gives you the basis, because when I reveal the piece to you, you're like, how did you do that? Well, now you know how. So I'm going to keep going. You know, like I said, I may introduce a lighter green here. I'm definitely going to blend this a little bit more. Obviously, it's going to wrap around the sides. I'm going to put this transfer on it somewhere, somehow. Okay. And I guess you'll just have to wait and see the rest. If you have any questions and I missed them, I will come back and check. Sorry, I got distracted by your comments. Again, you guys are engaging. I love it. I love it. I love it. See, I feel excited to come back and read these. I feel like I missed out on a whole side conversation. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will come back and check the comments. If you're watching this on a replay, I will come back and try to answer your questions. I will be back, I believe, in 2 weeks. So not next week, but the week after, Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Actually, I'll be live tomorrow too. I totally forgot. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys.